What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cafe and Views. Today we went to Miss Melbourne and got the Miss Melbourne. This coffee shop is all about being Australian and about having that authentic Australian coffee, the real pastries, the real food. Everything from that shop is straight from Australia. It's not just like a typical coffee shop that says they're from one location, but they're actually from the States. This coffee shop is actually from Australia and has the Australian roots built deep down within the coffee shop. When you first walk in, you can see that it kind of has a normal coffee shop vibe to it, kind of like a pizzeria in a way. So it's kind of welcoming. They have a lot of different options for food and drinks, and their menu is pretty extensive. I wanted their signature drink, so the worker explained to me exactly what it was, what went into it, why the coffee was so special, and why most people get it. I would say that this coffee shop is probably one of the most unique coffee shops that I've been to so far, just because of its Australian roots. Let's get into it and start talking about the coffee. For acidity, the first sip of this coffee, I can detect that it's gonna be a sour coffee pretty much all throughout, unless you get to the bottom and then it might switch up. But as for now, I'm really getting a sour note from it. None of the ingredients are overpowering it in a way where it turns it into a sweeter coffee. Instead of a citrus or a blueberry taste, I'm getting more of a lemon. It's not over the top sour, but it's not sweet like 6 Cents coffee was. It is pretty mellow though. It's not sharp or lively. It helps you unwind when you're drinking it. It doesn't do anything extra to where you're paying a lot of attention to it. It's kind of just making you zone out. I know that good coffee beans went into this coffee. I know that it's brewed that same day. I can definitely taste that nice freshness and that authentic Australian coffee beans and coffee from it. If you were to go to Australia, you can get the same kind of flavor and acidity from the coffee as if you were to go to West Hollywood and go to the same shop. It would still give you that same type of motherland and homeland type of vibe. For acidity, I'm gonna give this coffee about a 3.5 out of 5. I get a strong, sweet vibe from it. It's definitely not really similar to the flavor. The flavor, I'm getting sour, but the aroma, it's definitely a sweeter scent. I can definitely detect the ice cream that went into the coffee. Instead of using ice cubes, they put ice cream into the coffee. I'm not sure why it doesn't make the coffee sweeter as you would think, but it definitely enhances the aroma in a huge way. I was expecting to get a sour smell, not a bad sour smell, but a sour smell from it, but I'm really getting a nice vanilla ice cream note. It's real pleasant. It makes you want to keep smelling it, and when you're smelling it, in turn, that would make you keep wanting to drink it. If you've ever had a vanilla ice cream float before, this kind of gives off that similar strong vibe to it. The smell is extremely sweet, but it doesn't transition to the flavor. I want my coffee sweet, but I don't want it to be over the top. So if the coffee's flavor was as sweet as the aroma, it would kind of be a little bit off-putting. It's definitely nutty and fruity. The vanilla adds to the fruit smell in a big way. It's nutty because of the vanilla bean. The nutty aroma is not as prominent as the fruity note, but it's still a high number 2. You can detect the smell and the aroma from a medium distance away from the coffee, but when you put your nose really close to it, you get an extremely strong smell. Although the vanilla vibe is the most prominent scent and aroma, it definitely doesn't off-put me in any way. I would rather have this strong, extreme vanilla smell than like 4 or 5 different scents that don't really enhance it to the point where I keep coming back. For aroma, I'm gonna give this coffee a 4.5 out of 5. The overall ingredients do get balanced out. There's no flavors that are competing with each other. They're all existing coherently. They're all living in this coffee collectively. None are trying to battle out each other. The flavor definitely gets enhanced by the aroma in a strong way. When you're smelling the coffee, you're kind of remembering that smell when you're drinking it. So in a way, your brain is kind of tricking yourself into getting some of that aroma and translating it into flavor. So although the flavor doesn't have that strong vanilla note like this aroma does, it's definitely translating more into the flavor the more you keep drinking it and the more you keep smelling it. So you keep getting that memory. This is definitely a memorable coffee. You're not going to forget about it when you drink it. The aroma alone makes you remember it and makes you think about going back and getting the same coffee, or even going back and trying out a new coffee from Miss Melbourne. For flavor, I'm gonna give this coffee a 3.5 out of 5. Initially, I'm getting a kind of water-like consistency, but slowly it's turning into watered down milkshake. So it still maintains that thickness, but it dissipates kind of quickly into a water-like consistency. If you were to put ice in a milkshake and the ice would melt, you're still drinking a milkshake, but it's watering it down. So the thickness is there and the weight is there, but the overall coating that it applies on your tongue is kind of really mellow, and it doesn't really get stuck to your tongue as much as a typical thicker milkshake would. It still provides a pretty thin coating on your tongue. You still keep remembering the coffee the more you're drinking it. It's not like it goes away as soon as it enters your mouth. It still sticks around for a little bit, but not as much as a thicker milkshake like coffee would. Sometimes that's good. If the flavor's not there, but the aroma's there, you might not want to have the coffee stick around for a longer period of time. You might want it to dissipate. For body, I'm gonna give this coffee about a 3 out of 5. For sweetness, I'm gonna add a little bit of more points because I can detect the sweetness in the aroma. It's not so much there in the flavor, it's more toned down, so you're not getting that Starbucks sweetness that most people like. You're getting more of a toned down sweetness, but you could get that back by smelling the coffee, by getting the aroma. If you like the extreme sweetness that you might get in a caramel macchiato, you can kind of translate that by smelling it, and it might salivate your taste buds to where you're thinking that you're drinking a sweeter coffee, but in reality you're not. Because of the aroma, I'm gonna give the sweetness about a 3.5 out of 5. For aftertaste, it kind of dries out your mouth. It doesn't coat it, and it doesn't leave a lingering flavor. It is smooth, but it still maintains that sourness that you got from the beginning. I'm already halfway done with the coffee and it's still maintaining that sweetness, as opposed to the previous coffee that it went from sour to sweet. This coffee maintains that sourness all throughout, but the dryness is not terrible. A lot of coffees, when they dry out your mouth, it kind of leaves you in a feeling of you want to drink something else to kind of alleviate that, but the aroma and the taste of this coffee kind of make you still want to drink it. So there's not a negative for the dryness, but I would still like to have the coffee coat your mouth and stay for a longer period of time. It is leaving a good trail. When it first enters your mouth, it is staying on the roof of your tongue, it is going on your taste buds, it is coating your mouth. So when it goes down, it does leave a good experience. It does create more kind of like a journey. So when you're smelling it, tasting it, remembering it, the aftertaste, it kind of all puts you on a small kind of like a journey. For aftertaste, I'm gonna put this coffee about a 3 out of 5. For complexity, you would think that the name Miss Melbourne would be their signature scent. It would just be like a typical coffee, but since they put the ice cream in it, it does create that authentic feel. It does make it more complex as opposed to having a normal coffee with just ice cubes that water it down. This coffee tries being different and unique by including ice cream, and I'm glad they did that, because although it doesn't enhance the flavor too much, it does enhance the aroma, and that's a really important characteristic. The looks and taste were pretty normal. The ice cream didn't enhance the flavor in a way where you're kind of feeling like you're eating an ice cream in a way. It was just feeling as if you're just drinking a normal kind of cup of coffee. With the aroma, it does put you on a journey. You do smell the coffee and the sweetness and the ice cream that goes along with it, and as you're doing that, you're remembering that there was actual ice cream that went into the coffee. So when you're drinking it, it does enhance your experience. It does give you different experiences. Beginning, middle, and end are all pretty uniform. It doesn't put you on a roller coaster. For complexity, I'm gonna put this coffee at about a 4 out of 5. Forgiveness, does the aroma kind of forgive those other characteristics and bring them up? I would say yes, because the aroma and the complexity of the coffee, you don't see this in other coffees that you might get. I've never had a coffee that there was ice cream put into it. Also, I never had a cup of coffee that had the aroma smell like an ice cream float or an ice cream sundae. So that was definitely a good, unique plus. For forgiveness, I'm gonna put it at a 4 out of 5. Is it consistent? Yes, you get the same notes from the beginning, middle, and the end. It's all uniform, nothing stands out, as opposed to the aroma. The aroma, when you're factoring balance, it's definitely more vanilla prominent. It's definitely a note that is wanting to be the center of attention. It still maintains that sour note all throughout the coffee. It doesn't change from sour to sweet. It doesn't keep you guessing. It's just sour all throughout. Obviously, the vanilla note stands out in a strong way for the aroma. For balance, I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. Lastly, versatility. I wouldn't put this coffee strongly versatile just because of how complex it is and how good it smells. I would leave this coffee more for the weekend where you want to enjoy it. It's not a cup of coffee that you would drink every single day. This coffee definitely wouldn't be your pick-me-up Monday to Friday. If you're going to work and you stop by Miss Melbourne, you're going to want to go to a different coffee shop and get another coffee, something that's not as memorable. This coffee is definitely memorable. It's definitely something that you want to get when you're trying to enjoy your time, or when you're going to you're doing some tasks that you want your mood to be brightened up. You would drink this. For versatility, I'm gonna put this coffee at about a 3 out of 5. All in all, the Miss Melbourne from Miss Melbourne got a 35.5 out of 50, or about a 71% out of 100. Definitely go check out Miss Melbourne, and if you get the same coffee as me, let me know what you guys think. If you get that strong ice cream note and aroma, or if you can taste it in the flavor. Tune in next episode to see where we're going next. Let's go on to the next one. Peace.